Welcome to Find Myself Free, the podcast. I'm Ellie Young, alcohol-free life coach, mom, and athlete. I'm dedicated to helping others change their relationship to alcohol by sharing my journey of transformation. Fascinated by my own capacity for change after decades of gray area drinking, I'm passionate about sharing what I've learned from neuroscience and positive psychology to help you break free from the drinking cycle and unlock your true potential. Hear my personal stories of triumph and struggle as I navigate raising two boys, finding myself after 40, building a business, and doing it all alcohol free. From women's health and cycle syncing to fasting and biohacking, this podcast is your roadmap to a healthier, purpose filled life that starts with changing your relationship to alcohol. It's time to embrace change, find balance, and create the life you were meant for. Welcome to Find Myself Free. Hey, everybody. Before we get to the show, I wanted to invite you to check out my new free resource. It's called Breaking Up with Booze. Check out the link in my show notes. But essentially, this is just a free guide where I break down the two most common beliefs that are keeping women stuck in the drinking cycle. Now, I know what you need. You want to feel confident socializing alcohol-free. You want to be able to manage your stress, but without the crutch of alcohol. And ultimately, we all want to experience joy and connection without the hangover. So this is a completely free resource that you should check out, Breaking Up with Booze, because I know you are finally ready to level up your health. So check it out today. Head on over to my show notes and get the link. I hope to see you there. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I'm coming at you today live for my podcast, and today's topic is all about the evolution of love and the way that the way I love has changed ever since I've given up alcohol 4 years ago. So I'm coming up on my 4-year anniversary. In just 3 days, I'll be celebrating 4 years alcohol free. And so it puts me in this really reflective, nostalgic place because I can remember exactly how I felt that first February when I was coming out of dry January. And I was really just on this tipping point of change in my growth, in my evolution. And I didn't really know I was there. I was still kind of in the throes of the struggle. And then really it was just like something just switched and it was incredible. And ever since that point forward, the way I show up for myself, the way I love myself, first and foremost, the way I love myself has completely changed my life because I started putting myself at the top of my priority list instead of every other thing in this world. And I think this is why this is so important to talk about here is this evolution of what it meant to love before. And, we have all these ideas that for women, in particular, especially when you become a mom, that love means self-sacrifice, or maybe even when you just become a partner, when you get married and you start giving of yourself to this other person and compromising in things and, changing for this other person and maybe not doing things the way that you always did it because you're trying to accommodate this other person. And women have a really, really tough time shifting out of that and finding their own place again, finding what it means to really think of yourself first, because it's all tangled up in this message that is being selfish and that is not worthy. If you are not giving of yourself as a woman, if you are not putting others first as a woman, then you're not worthy. You must be a bitch. You must be selfish. You must be power hungry. You must be, competitive and things like that. And so I'm going to take you back to like where I was 4 years ago and the way that I used to love. My husband is actually coming home from a work trip here. He has been gone since Sunday. He had to leave on Super Bowl Sunday for his job and was gone the same week that my children are out of school for their ski week. And he's gone every year for this vacation. So every year, my kids, we don't get to do a family vacation because he has to do this work trip. And it sucks. It's a big struggle. And I actually have PTSD from doing this trip on my own when the kids were little. I took them skiing by myself 2 different times and they were little. Like I want to say they were like 5 and 7, not really great on skis, and I'm not really great on skis, and I was still drinking, and I thought I could do it. I thought I could handle it. We went with the groups of friends and stuff, but we stayed on our own, and so me trying to navigate 2 little kids on a mountain, not being a great skier myself, and my one child, who has ADHD and basically has a really tough time listening, just kept veering off into, like, different trails while I had my, like, 5-year-old and I'm trying to, like, get down the mountain as also not kill myself. So, I actually drank my way through that. Like, I mean, I would get through the day and then drink at night, and because I was so stressed and I had so much pressure on me, I didn't wanna let my kids down. I didn't wanna let my husband down and be like, "Oh, I'm not gonna take them skiing because you're not here. Like, I can do this." I put so much pressure on myself to still make this trip happen. And this year, I opted out of that. Like, I have opted out of skiing, opted out of potentially hurting myself, self-sacrificing myself, and I sent one of my kids on a ski trip with a friend, thank God. God bless them for taking my 13-year-old skiing, and then I did a staycation at home with my 11-year-old. Um, and I felt a lot of guilt that, again, that I wasn't doing this thing that I'm supposed to go do with my kids and give them this incredible vacation. But I've decided that the way I'm going to love and show up for my kid this vacation is to do something totally different and go explore LA, do all the different cool things here in LA. But I struggled with that. Again, not putting myself in a position where it wasn't right for me in order to serve my family and serve my kids. And there's a fine line here. And I think this is what it truly meant for me to come out from under the drinking, because there was so much self-sacrifice that I did as a young mother. Think about it. We are so porous at that time. We become boundaryless. We become literally our bodies, our minds, our time. Everything is about taking care of these little people. And if you're not doing that, if you're still trying to fit in stuff for yourself, you feel guilty doing it, even though you know it's what you need. And so where we end up self-loving and self-medicating is with alcohol. We are somehow taught in this struggle of motherhood that it's okay to take care of yourself with alcohol. In fact, it's kind of like glamorized and sold to us as this really beautiful way to, like, wind down and relax and, like, treat yourself. And I bought into that completely hook, line, and sinker. I wouldn't take myself to the spa. I wouldn't let myself sleep in. I wouldn't go take a nap, but I would pour myself a glass of wine at the end of a tough day. And that was okay. And it was poisoning me and making me mentally unwell and wrecking my sleep and destroying my hormonal balance. And I had no idea. And so I survived motherhood, self-sacrificing and kind of losing touch with what I really needed, what I really wanted through with drinking. And I've said this before, but I honestly don't know if I could have gotten out of drinking the way that I did and when I was turning 40, and so I was able to my kids were older, and I was getting a little more autonomy, and I had a little more independence, and they didn't need me as much. I was getting more time back that I could actually put towards taking better care of myself and starting to remind myself what I needed instead of just constantly living in this place of, like, doing things for other people and losing touch of what I needed and wanted. And that's how my self-love has shifted. When I stopped giving alcohol the job of loving me and taking care of me and being my reward and being my break and being my stress relief, then I had to actually solve for that stuff. I actually had to be like, what do I really need? How do I really connect? How do I really entertain myself and get stress relief and treat myself to something, right? And I couldn't have done it. I really don't know if I could have done it when I still had young children who demanded so much of me, right? And the ski week really brings that up for me too, because my 11-year-old's been off school this entire week, and I've tried to entertain him. I've tried to, like, fill in lots of fun stuff. I took the week off of work. I tried to squeeze in little things here and there, but, like, it's a lot to try and, when your kids normally go to school and have a bunch of sports and then all of a sudden you're like, hey, entertain me for an entire week. It's a lot, especially if you're trying to be like, don't get on your screens, which by the way, I've been bribing my kids to stay off YouTube and YouTube in general. No, not even on the TV and not on their iPads. And it's working so far, but I will tell you how that's going to go. Um, it has been a struggle even as I have gotten to this point of evolution in the way that I take care of myself. This week I still had moments where I was just like, I'm exhausted because I'm putting more time into this person than I am into myself. And like things are falling by the wayside. Like I've barely done laundry. All the laundry is just sitting and it's clean. It just needs to be folded. The house is kind of a mess. The dishes aren't done. Lots of things that, I kind of check boxes on are falling by the wayside because I'm like, hey man, I want to make this a memorable break from school with you because I have that pressure of like, we only have so many vacations left with our kids. And you know what, that statistic, by the time you're 18, you've already spent 90% of your time with your kids and the rest, it's almost over. So, that kind of pressure kills a mom. You're just like, well, how do I make the most of these moments with you? How do I make it memorable without spoiling you and just buying you things? Um, so I put a lot of pressure on myself but that has evolved. That has completely evolved. The way that I love, the way that I show up for my family, the way that I show up for my partner has completely changed because I'm no longer drinking, because I take care of myself. I know that that really needs to come first in order for me to show up well for all these other people. And that is so cool to me. Like I'm so reflective right now. Like I've been really into taking really good care of my kids and my husband's health with it's sick season, right? Lots of colds going around, lots of bugs. My husband's been traveling a lot for work. And so I'm so excited to have him home. It's Valentine's Day. And let's just rewind. The way I would have celebrated Valentine's Day having him come home from a trip is I would have been like, I got you a really fancy bottle of tequila, or maybe I'd have a nice bottle of champagne. I would have had like treats and like lots of sugary things, some sort of decadent meal for him. And it would have been all about kind of indulging. Because again, I was sold these ideas like this is what it means to like love somebody and show up for somebody. And, it was so tied up in alcohol. Like I can't tell you how many times I gifted my husband really nice bottles of tequila for like a birthday or a holiday or something. And that's how we spent time together. That's how we like, oh, we need a date night. We're going to go out and drink together. Right? Now our date nights are totally different. Actually, our date nights are kind of non-existent right now. We really need to ramp that up. But now he's coming home and I'm like, ooh, I'm getting him a bunch of yummy different fermented foods to try and restore his gut health because he's been gone all week at a work conference, not sleeping, sleep deprived, heavy meals, drinking. And as much as I loaded him up with all sorts of supplements before he left to try and take care of him while he's there, I know he's going to come home completely wrecked. And so the way I'm like going to love him is like right when he gets home, I'm going to have him take this special buffered vitamin C drink. We're going to give him some zinc. I'm going to make him a super smoothie with a whole bunch of antioxidants in it. We're going to take selenium. So I have this whole protocol I'm going to do. It's on top of really trying to restore his gut health because I'm sure that that's just been wrecked this week. And that's where 70% of your immune system resides. So this is the way I'm excited to love him when he comes back because I really want to like take care of him. And I heard this statistic on another podcast the other day. I think it was a Rich Roll one where he interviewed this woman and she quoted something. I'm gonna mess it up, but it was something like women's who are married and have children, their lifespans are shortened by, I want to say it was like 7 years. It was something like that. Like compared to single women, compared to women who do not marry and who don't have children. And then men on the flip side, married men actually enhance their lifespan. They live longer than single men because the woman, how weird is that? Married women die sooner, married men live longer. So women statistically, it's proven that whatever we are doing in the relationship, we are giving years of our life into our family to take care of our children, to take care of our husbands. And when we give of ourselves, we're giving of our time, we're giving of our mental space. I think that's one of the biggest things that I recognize when my kids aren't in school and aren't in sports is my mental space is completely interrupted, right? I usually have a time to think about things and work and plan and organize in my brain. And instead I'm just being like peppered by like child that needs things, needs things. And he's 11, right? I don't even have a toddler. God, back in the days when I had toddlers running around and they really, really need you for everything and you can't leave them alone for a second. And that like not having that mental space for yourself, that's why we drank, right? That's why we like had to self-medicate because we weren't carving out any other time or space for ourselves. It was so difficult to do without feeling guilty. And I still struggle with it now. I still struggle with the guilt of telling my child, hey, mom needs an hour right now. I've done it multiple times this week. Mom needs an hour right now to work out, and explaining to him, don't you want that for mom? Do you want mommy to just be like, I don't do anything for myself. I only play with you and I only take care of you. He's 11, so he can like process this a little bit better. I'm like, or do you want me to be able to like get what I need so that I show up in a better mood and I'm like, I feel good and I'm happy. And like, he's like, oh, okay. Like, even though I struggle even communicating that without resentment sometimes. And I'm trying to do it in like a really fun, lighter way. Like, hey, come on, don't you want mama to have a little something? Like, it's Valentine's Day. Don't you want me to get my workout in so that I like show up and I feel good? And he's like, yeah, of course I do. Right. And then you try and include him and try and get him pumping weights with you and do all the things. But like the biggest message we can communicate to our children about self-love and about self-care and about showing up for yourself is doing this stuff. Like, hey, this is how I take care of myself. You're not going to see me drinking wine at the end of the night as a way of taking care of myself. And I point that out to my kids now. I go, hey, listen, like this is what I need to do to like feel good. And it's not going to be at the end of the day in a glass of wine, right? Where you're going to lose me, where I'm not going to be present with you anymore. You know what I did at the end of my day yesterday? Here's an example. Not only we got rained out, we were trying to do our LA staycation. I had all these plans to go do stuff in LA, but literally the freeways were like underwater. LA does not drain well when it rains here. The streets literally become flooded and it's pretty gnarly out. Traffic like comes to a halt. So I wasn't about to hop on the freeway and go into downtown LA for the day. So instead we went to our favorite rainy day activity, Sky Zone, where Benji broke his foot last time. So I did not really want to go do this, but I was like, all right, do not break your foot. Please, 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 no broken bones this time. And I holed up in the parking lot and worked a little bit while Benji jumped around. Then we got home. We went to Shake Shack with some friends. He had a friend over. And then later that evening, he decided he wanted to make a robotic cardboard hand. If you guys have seen these cardboard creations on YouTube, they're kind of crazy. With it had like on the fingers like straws, like little joints of a finger, little pieces of straws, and then string that you connected through it. And then you could literally pull. I'm not describing it well. Go Google it. But you can like move your fingers on these little strings, like pulling these strings, and it would move the little hand made out of cardboard. And so it took a long time. It was a lot of work. We didn't have all the proper materials. We didn't have a hot glue gun, so we were using super glue, which spilled a few times and got all over us. I mean, it was, but we didn't give up. And because I wasn't drinking normally, back in the day, if my kids wanted to do like a Lego project or some sort of kind of tedious craft or project that required me to be like, all right, let's sit down and do this. I would have drank. I would have drank my way through it and thinking it was going to like power me and fuel me and help me be creative and help me be patient. And I now know what a disaster that would have been. Instead, I was actually able to sit down and like be patient with him and work on this thing and not give up. And like his frustration, he was getting so mad and getting so upset with himself and like jumping around and running away. And I just was able to be calm and model like, all right, this one didn't work out. We're going to get better at it. We're going to improve on it. And I just, as still as tough as that moment was, I know I modeled something for him that was just priceless, right? Like I, I, I I'm really proud of myself actually, because it was difficult. It was hard at the end of my day to want to do that. I was tired and having the patience to sit there and do that with my kid. Again,
like these self-sacrificial moments where you're just like, I'm choosing to do this for my kid. But when I did later, I was like, okay, now mom needs a little bit of time to herself right now. I'm going to watch a show for like an hour. And he felt satisfied. He had gotten enough of my time and my love and my energy and was able to kind of detach and go do his own thing for a little bit. And then we got back together and watched a movie together and cuddled up, which was awesome. Um, and I feel really grateful. So I want you to really think about this from a perspective of like, how many jobs have you given alcohol to take care of you, to love you? And how does that make you show up for others? How are you showing love? How are you expressing love to other people? Is it in a way that is only self-sacrificial, that like, I just give of my time and my energy to you? Or is it like, can it be more collaborative? Can it be more like, hey, I have to love myself first in order to love you better? And that's really what removing alcohol did for me, is that I was able to start taking better care of myself. I was able to give myself what I needed and not show up in all of my other relationships feeling so resentful and so tired and so burnt out because I wasn't taking care of myself. And I thought, okay, I love you. I have to do these things for you, right? That's not what love is. Loving yourself first is the biggest, most important first step. And that's when you remove alcohol and you leave yourself raw and you leave yourself bare and you start recognizing all the ways, all the jobs you had given alcohol to take care of you in all these different ways. And you're like, well, shoot, what do I do now? How do I do this? So this is why it's so uncomfortable, right? Because we really actually haven't solved any of these problems. We haven't met these needs. These are core human basic needs. The need to feel love, the need to feel connected, the need to feel safe, security, the need to be entertained, to have some joy, to have some, variety in life. We give all these different jobs to alcohol. And then we're like, why do I feel like shit? Why am I so empty inside? Why am I so depressed? Why am I so anxious? Why do I not have a clue how to take care of myself or what I need? Right? And what are you modeling for your kids during this time? What are you modeling to your husband? Right? Modeling to my husband. So he's going to come home and boy, he is like so grateful. Like, I definitely have extended my husband's lifespan. I know that. And I want to defy the statistic that I'm taking years off my life by being a mother and by being a partner. Like, I know that all of the things that I'm doing for my health now are focused on longevity, are focused on my wellness. And that I'm going to continue to take care of my needs and continue to prioritize myself, because I know ultimately it all trickles down from there. I am the garden from which all the fruit is going to feed the family, right? They say happy wife, happy life, but how do I internalize that for myself? Happy me. Happy me. Like, I need to take care of myself, right? So anyways, I got to go take my child now to the Mocha Geffen in LA. We're going to go see a cool um, display there today. It's like a cool arts display. So if you follow me on Instagram, take a look. I'm going to have some cool videos. We've done all sorts of cool stuff in LA this week. Benji did the balloon museum with a friend on Monday. We did that at Christmas and it was amazing. It does not disappoint. If you're in LA, go to the balloon museum. It's incredible. We did Santa Monica, where we did the rings and the Santa Monica Pier with the roller coasters. And we did an incredible putt-putt golf course called Holy Moly. That's like a disco nightclub putt-putt course. It was incredible. The kids loved it. And now today, we got rained out yesterday. And now today we are going to the Mocha Geffen, to the Modern Art Museum of Contemporary Art. It's going to be incredible. We're so cultured. Look at us. My kid's not just a jock. He's an artist. And this is how I am showing up and loving him this week instead of putting myself in a PTSD skiing situation. And by the way, I'm really glad I didn't go on the ski trip with my 13-year-old to Park City, because it was gnarly conditions. It was like -2 one day. They couldn't even ski. Another day, the winds were so high. That's my nightmare. That is my nightmare. And then trying to force myself to enjoy myself in those situations. And it's a crapshoot. That's the problem with skiing. Like when we only get these designated weeks and times off to ski, and you have to just like book the trip and you don't know what the conditions are going to be like. And then it's god awful. And you're like, I spent $500 on this ticket. I'm going to go make myself ski. That's what I've done in the past. I've done that so many times. And I literally have PTSD. And I used to drink to get through it. No more. I'm not putting myself in that situation. Instead, I chose this awesome staycation LA week with my kiddo, who is like so grateful and having the best time ever. Oh, we also did a pottery class. Yes. Yes, a pottery class. He absolutely loved it with the wheel, the spinning wheel, the thing. He absolutely loved it. He wants to do it again. So I'm stoked. It was a wonderful week with my kiddo, and I'm really proud of myself and the way that my love has evolved. And I want that for you. So happy Valentine's Day, everybody. As always, I am with you. You got this. Till next time.
Hey, you've just listened to an episode of Find Myself Free. And if some part of this left you wanting more, if your curiosity has been piqued and your intuition is telling you, I'm ready for more, then check out my coaching offers at findmyselffree.com. I have the Brave course to help you break free from booze. And I designed this course with the exact lessons that led to my transformation. I also have the Balance Challenge for those ready to learn the art of cycle syncing to balance their hormones. If you're looking for additional support and to take either of these programs to the next level, I also offer one-on-one coaching. Now, I worked with a coach for 4 months at the start of my alcohol-free journey, and it made all the difference. Being able to talk to someone who knew what I was going through and could help me navigate my new world gave me a foundation of support I could build on. And it's a big reason why I'm a coach today. I want to help others find their freedom and level up their health. If this sounds good to you, connect with me at findmyselffree.com and set up a call. Listen to your intuition that is telling you you were meant for more. I am with you. You got this.